Hey, Facebook family, and specifically my Midtown Bridge Church family. One of the things I've discovered that the longer you walk with the Lord, it's so easy to take for granted the things you've learned through the years. I've now been walking with the Lord now for over 20 years. And it's amazing just the things I'm still learning today, but also, to be honest, sometimes the things I actually take for granted. And so oftentimes when I have the opportunity to disciple individuals, one of the things I try to do is show them like just different ways to have a quiet time. Quiet time meaning when you're sitting down with God and you're spending time in His Word and you're trying to position yourself to hear what the Lord wants to say to you by His Word. And so one of the things I found to be helpful for me personally, that I did not invent this, but other pastors and mentors have showed me this, but I try to pass this along. It's called the SOAP method. And what SOAP is, it's an acronym that stands for Scripture, Observation, Application, and Prayer. And simply what it is it literally takes you maybe 3 to 5 minutes where, say for example, you're reading through a book of the Bible, you're reading through Scripture. And basically what you do is you read through it, and the first S, Scripture, is you'll write out maybe 1 or 2 or even however many verses that really just kind of speaks to you. And so you'll take some time to actually write out those verses, that verse, word for word. And so then the next step would be the O, observation. And basically what you do is you'll write down, like, what do you observe about that text? Not what does it mean to you, but like based upon like what you've read in the previous verses you just read and even the verses that follows after. It's like, man, what was happening in that particular section of Scripture? Like, what was Paul saying to Timothy if you're reading through 1st and 2nd Timothy? What did it mean to those first century disciples when they would have heard this parable told by Jesus? Like, observe what is happening in the text. That's the O. And then the A is application. And a lot of times, to be honest, I know I myself sometimes want to rush the application. But I think if you don't spend time in these first 2 parts, you're bound to get the text wrong. And so application is where you'll write out, like, in light of how these disciples responded to Jesus, this is how I perceive God is speaking to me based upon this scripture I just read. And you'll write out perhaps like a 1 sentence, maybe 3 sentence of like how does this scripture apply to your daily living today? And then the last one is prayer. And you actually write out a prayer like, Lord, in light of what I just learned from this parable, like, Lord, help me to be in alignment with what you were teaching those disciples and maybe not with the Pharisees, just using it as a random example. This is just a very practical way you could go about just increasing your time with the Lord and actually having some journal notes and entry about what God is saying to you in your daily moments with Him. All right, hopefully that encourages you, and hopefully that'll lead you to having a more robust and impactful quiet time. God bless you.